Let me get the mic. Honey, I got something to say. Ooh, I like that. Can you turn that up for me? No, like, it's Maja. But you know, Maj for short. Ask Maj.
What's up? What's up? It's your girl Maj, and we are back with another episode of Ask Maj, the podcast, where I am spilling all the real tea. Get your pen and paper ready because you got some homework. I got some homework for you. I need a couple of favors from y'all. Are you listening? You got your pen and paper ready? First, when you listen to the podcast, please be sure to leave me a nice rating and review. I would appreciate that so much. I'm trying to get these reviews up, these ratings up. And I post the reviews to my social media. So if you got something good to say, please leave me a 5-star rating and write me a really good review. Tell me how you really feel. And secondly, vote. Help me to share the true, authentic, and powerful stories of Black women across the world through my podcast. Vote Ask Maj the podcast for the 2020 Podcast Awards by visiting www.podcastawards.com and nominating Ask Maj the podcast for the People's Choice Award and the Entertainment Award. Voting ends July 31st. So support, please, with a cherry on top. You can also keep up with the campaign on all of my social media platforms. Facebook and Instagram are both at Ask Maj the Podcast, and Twitter is at Ask Maj the Pod. Ask Maj the Pod, excuse me. So yes, vote. Good news! Ask Maj the Podcast was featured in an article by the DMV Daily. It was called 10 Black Podcasts You Should Listen To. And the secret is, I wrote it. So for those of you who don't know, I am also a writer and journalist for a DMV media outlet, digital media outlet called the DMV Daily that I write for. And so I did an article on 10 Black podcasts you should listen to. Just trying to support, fellow Black podcasters. We're already, misrepresented in the media industry. It's just so exciting to see a lot of these podcasts emerge and know that they are Black-led, Black-owned, Black-created, all of that good stuff, Black-directed. So I had to do an article about us, for us. So shout out to all the other podcasts that were also featured. You got Horatio Radio, Human Blacks, 1000 Jumpers, The Lituation Room, Good Taste, Bad Grammar, The Game Is On, Game of Faith, The Culture University, and 3 Keys on a Pod. So make sure you go and listen to all of those podcasts. And if you'd like to check out the article, it is on the dmvdaily.com. And it's called 10 Black Podcasts You Should Listen To. Ask Maj the Podcast was also featured on a FeedSpot blog, Top 20 Black Women Podcasts You Must Follow in 2020. And you can find the blog at blog.feedspot.com. So super excited for all of this press. And yes, shout out to the DMV Daily just for this opportunity as a writer and for the opportunity to spotlight other Black podcasts. And shout out to FeedSpot for featuring Maj on that amazing list. So yes, we are moving forward, and we are progressing. So excited. So Maj moment of the day. I saw this tweet, maybe like last week or the week before that. It doesn't matter. But it really resonated with me. And the young lady, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said something along the lines of, do you know how frustrating it is to have so many ideas in your head, that you want to execute, or something along those lines. Just so many things you want to execute, but it's frustrating that you can't do it all at once. Those were kind of along the lines of what the tweet said. And it really resonated with me because I think I struggle with this, and a lot of other people struggle with this. It's like you have so many things that you want to do, so many things you want to accomplish, so many ideas that you want to bring to life, businesses, ventures, like all of that good stuff. And it's frustrating because you want to do everything at once, but you can't. And I struggle with that. And like I said, I think a lot of people struggle with this as well. So my Maj moment of the week is master one thing before moving to the next. So I say that to say, I think it's wonderful to have, all of these ideas and all of these things that you want to get started and so on and so forth. But if you try to do too many things at once, then it becomes less quality, right? So you want to think quality over quantity and not the other way around. So I say, try to master one thing before you move to the next. Get one thing down, focus on one thing, focus on, accomplishing that thing, fulfilling your goals for that one thing, making it to be the best that it can possibly be, and then moving on to something else. Like, make sure that you are extremely confident in that one thing and then move on to something else. And that way I feel like you can kind of build your capacity. You can see kind of like how you work, and how you can add more things onto your plate by doing one thing at a time. But like I said, if you try to do too many things at once, it can become frustrating, and you kind of notice a loss of quality. Like, there's not much quality because you're doing so many things at once. Versus if you put your focus on one thing, you can really invest in that thing. Work towards whatever goal you're trying to fulfill, so on and so forth. So Maj moment is to master one thing before moving to the next. And I promise, like I said, the more you grow, the more you progress, the more you build, you'll begin to learn a lot more about yourself and your capacity and how much you can take on. And it helps when moving on to the next level. And, if you focus on one thing, there are a lot of lessons that you can learn by building that one thing that you can take over into your next business venture or idea or creation or whatever it is that you want to do. You can kind of take those lessons into the next thing that you start so that you won't make those same mistakes again. So again, master one thing before moving to the next. Yes, for speaking of mastering one thing and new ideas and new businesses, today's small Black-owned business shout-out goes to UC Bins, founded by Javicia Leslie. The key is not to prioritize your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Stephen Covey. As we continue to fight through adverse times, we must remember the vision. Although the road often changes, the vision remains the same. Jaciel is selling an ebook of daily affirmations to help you remain intentional in your life. You can go slow, allow your dreams and goals to change, but live an intentional life. Kumail Nanjiani. Ooh, child, I hope I didn't pronounce that wrong. That's the quote. In the book, you can find a checklist, a mind map, and other valuable tools to retain positive messages. How do affirmations work? We are surrounded every day by negative messages from the world around us. The media, our family, and even well-meaning friends can impose limiting beliefs on us that greatly diminish our belief that anything is possible. These limiting beliefs are continually repeated to us throughout our childhood and well into adulthood, and ultimately how we end up defining ourselves and who we are and what we can accomplish. What you talk and think about the most, as well as the kind of beliefs you hold on to, is what you ultimately attract in your life. Positive thinking attracts positive experiences and outcomes, while negativity attracts more negativity. The ebook is $10 and can be found at ucbenz.com. That's the letter U, the letter C, and Benz is spelled BENZ.com. Go and support a Black-owned business by Black. And his Instagram is UC_Benz. So that's at UC_Benz. That is his IG. So yes, make sure you go and support a Black-owned business. And if you'd like your business to be shouted out, please send me an email at agsmajmedia@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Facebook or Instagram at agsmajapodcast, or on Twitter at agsmajapod. I am all about supporting Black-owned businesses. So, woo chow moment of the day. Jada finally brought herself to the red table and did what needed to be done. And she talked about her entanglement with August Alsina. Okay, so let's get into my overall thoughts about the interview. And then I'll break it down a little bit. Excuse me, about the red table talk, not the interview. We did the interview already. Overall thoughts about the red table talk. First of all, Jada is fine. Oh my God, she looks so good. Jada is, ooh, child. I mean, I see why these men is acting the way they act, because Jada is fine, honey. Ooh, child, she looks so good. Like, shout out to you, Jada. Like, send me all the regimens, because, oh my gosh, she looks so good. Shout out to Jada just for looking good. I don't even need you to talk. Just sit there. Just sit there so I can look at you. She looks so good. Shout out to Jada just for looking so amazing. So first, I cannot tell if Jada was trying to be politically correct or she just felt uncomfortable saying relationship when she used entanglement instead. And then, if you watch the interview, Will had to kind of bring it out of her and say, like, what did you do? And then she kind of said relationship. So I thought that was a little weird. The new information is that, Jada and Will were separated at the time, which we did not know. They were separated when her and August had the relationship, or entanglement, whatever you like to call it. And that this actually happened 4 years ago, which was also new to me. So it does make me question why he went into detail about their relationship that happened 4 years ago. And Jada also said that they had not spoken since. So it's like, why are we bringing this up now? Like, can you imagine, not talking to or hearing from your ex for 4 years, and then 4 years later, they openly discuss y'all's relationship in a public interview, and you found out on social media? Like, I would be a little bit confused too. So yeah, that was a little strange. I did watch this interview with Angela Yee, this interview on Instagram Live with Angela Yee and the Jasmine brand. And Angela Yee was saying that, August, the reason why I guess he kind of went into details because he was trying to clear it up. He said, I guess there were a lot of people who were calling him a homewrecker and, so on and so forth, that he, wrecked Jada and Will's home, so on and so forth. And so that was his way of like clearing things up. So I guess that's why he went into detail about it. Okay. I mean, I guess I can understand that. But I also feel like, again, you're entitled to your truth. You're entitled to speaking your truth. But for me, I think, the question to ask is who deserves that truth? You know what I mean? Like, if you know the truth, if Jada knows the truth, if Will knows the truth, if all parties involved know the truth, why do people on social media need to know the truth? Why does the world need to know the truth? And there's no right or wrong answer. I think it's just about what you believe in, and what's important to you. And for him, it was important for him to speak his truth publicly, so that people, could understand what really happened. But the thing about it is, and I think about it like, regardless if you tell the truth or not, or you speak the truth or not, people are still going to believe what they want to believe. People are still going to say what they want to say. So again, it's about what's important to you and what you feel is important to, I guess, spill to the public. But other than that, I still stand on what I said in the previous episode. I think, again, August got himself way too caught up in Jada. And he ended up getting his feelings hurt when she went back to Will. So I can see how, if they were separated, I can definitely see how August maybe thought that they were going to be way more serious than they actually were. It's kind of like, well, they're separated and, maybe they plan on getting divorced. So maybe, this could really be a thing. I could definitely see how, he came to that conclusion. Jada explained that, on the Red Table Talk that, she got with August because, she wanted to feel good. So I feel like, from there, she kind of knew it wasn't going to be a serious thing, only a fling. And my thing is, I feel like that was kind of whether or not, she got with Will or not, I think it was kind of still going to always be a fling. Like, she just wanted to feel good. She was trying to fill a void. And I think in this situation, it sucks for August because he fell for her in that moment. He fell for her in that relationship. I also love how she kind of cleared up the whole permission thing, when August talked about, how Will Smith gave him his, quote unquote blessing. She clarified on the Red Table Talk that, I'm the only person who can give myself permission, who can give myself the power, to have permission over what I do, who I date, who I get into entanglements with. So, I mean, shout out to her for saying that. And she mentioned that August may have misperceived the conversation that he and Will had, which is what I kind of talked about in the previous episode. I said I did believe that, maybe Will did give him his blessing, but now that Jada kind of said, oh, well, maybe, he misperceived it, I can see the conversation of being, yeah, do what you want. We're not together because, they admitted that they weren't together. They were separated at the time. And from the conversation, from the Red Table Talk, they made it seem like they had no intentions on getting back together. Will was like, I was done with you, and I didn't see myself ever speaking to you again. So I can see maybe August and Will having a conversation. Will like, yeah, do what you want. Like, I don't care. We're not together kind of thing. And maybe August took that as like, Will gave me his blessing, which is what I talked about in the last episode. Like maybe he did misperceive it. We'll never know what they talked about, what that conversation consisted of. So, of course, now knowing that her and Will were separated at the time, like I said, I think that maybe what August heard, he kind of took that and maybe he implied that Will, kind of gave him his blessing. And he kind of really, didn't really care what they did. It's just like, we're not together. Do what you want. And like I said, Will mentioned that, he was done with Jada and, that he thought that they would never speak again. So the question arose on social media about cheating. Was it cheating? Did Jada cheat on Will? And so this was kind of tough. I read through a lot of, the opinions and, what people had to say on social media. And in this case, I'm going to say no. First of all, I see how and why people said she did cheat, considering she was still married to Will. However, from my understanding, or from what I got from the interview, both Will and Jada both admitted to not having intentions on getting back together. So I know that, when you're married, you got to be separated for some time in order to get a divorce. So my thing is, if they were separated with the intent to get a divorce and no intent to get back together, then I wouldn't necessarily consider it cheating. I do believe that, if I was in that situation, whether as August or Jada, I would not get myself entangled in that kind of situation. I think, poor August saw the possibility of him and Jada really becoming a thing, and Jada just wanted to, quote unquote, feel good. On top of that, I'm not getting involved with anyone romantically who is married, separated or not, honey. Show me the papers. And my thing is, on Jada's end, I just would not put myself in a position to, get serious or fall in love with someone else while I'm separated and not divorced. Like, I still have a whole husband at home. And, that's just me. I just don't see that happening. I think to avoid any, issues or complications or confrontation, like, let me make sure I'm completely and fully divorced before I jump into something serious later, because I think August thought it was a tad bit more serious than Jada was. Like that's kind of, than Jada did. That's kind of my take from that. I had an interesting conversation with one of my friends. I went to lunch with one of my friends this weekend. And she kind of mentioned, she said, if you are married to someone for that long, thinking of Jada and Will, and, you're truly in love with that person, if there is a possibility that you two could get back together, no matter how mad or upset you are. And I thought that was really interesting. I've never had that experience. Obviously, I've never been married, let alone being in a relationship for that many years. But it was an interesting point. Like, so she kind of alluded to the fact that, like, Jada knew, no matter how mad she was at Will or whatever, that there was some 1% of a possibility that her and Will could get back together. So I'm like, I don't know, that's a really good point. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Like I said, they definitely implied that, they had no intentions on getting back together, and, they didn't even think they were ever going to speak again. And I, like I said, I also understand that you do have to be separated for a while before you get a divorce. So I don't know, maybe she knew, they were going to get back together, and, at that time she just was using August as a, void filler or whatever. And, it just sucks because August was left with the short end of the stick, and Jada has somebody to go back to. So I don't know, very interesting point. Another thing that kind of came up was the trauma behind it. So there was a lot of talk, about Jada and August bonding over trauma. And in my opinion, I think that's very common for people to bond and create relationships, over trauma. I think, both of them were going through a lot personally, and they kind of bonded over, their personal struggles. And like I said, I think it's normal. I think it happens all the time. Sometimes it works. Sometimes the relationship work, and sometimes they don't. Unfortunately though, this was one of those times where it didn't work. I do believe there are a lot of couples who meet, fall in love, and bond over, past trauma or current circumstances, and they do work it out for the better. But then, and sometimes those are the most amazing love stories, when people, when two people kind of heal each other. But in some cases, it doesn't always work out like that. And that's, I think, what we saw with August and Jada. So, yeah, poor August. I think he really fell for this thing. And, he just knew he was about to be on the come up with Jada. And Sis stepped out. Sis was like, yeah, no, I'm out. But anyway, another thing I saw on social media a lot of people talked about was that, they felt Will Smith was still hurt by it from the interview. And I didn't get that. I didn't get that Will Smith was still hurt from the situation or from the interview. If anything, I would say, maybe his attitude or aura, demeanor kind of gave me that, like, maybe Jada, like, dragged him onto the red table, and maybe he didn't want to be there. And, I mean, that could also speak to the fact that it was only, like, 12 minutes. And I know her episodes are way longer than that, or typically much longer than that. And maybe he just didn't want to be there, but I didn't get hurt from him. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need to go back and watch it again because I just didn't get that. And then I always think of all the different scenarios. Maybe he just having a bad day, or maybe they just got in an argument before they did the show. I don't know, but I just didn't get hurt from him. But like I said, maybe I need to just, watch it again and pay closer attention. But other than that, I think it wasn't as juicy as I expected it to be because Jada kind of admitted to, the same thing August said. I think their stories match. I think the only thing that may have been a discrepancy was that, August said that Will gave him his blessing. And again, that just could have been a misperception. So, I mean, hey, I guess that's the end of that. Child, but y'all know they done took this word entanglement, and ran with it. And Black Twitter is off the chain, completely undefeated. But anyway, in other news, Charlamagne the God is getting his own show on Comedy Central. Details are still being worked out, but the new series will be a weekly half-hour focus on current events and cultural issues. In an interview with Vulture, he said, I want to talk about the things that can actually impact somebody's life in a real way, the things that can actually help move the culture forward. And on his IG caption, he said, God is really great to me, blessed, Black, and highly favored forever. So shout out to Charlamagne for finally getting his own show. And now, speaking of like the Breakfast Club, I wonder if he's gonna leave or not. And I know he's mentioned it a couple of times before. I know that all of them have kind of mentioned it, that some of their contracts were getting ready to be up, and that they were kind of thinking about leaving the Breakfast Club. So I wonder, what's gonna happen after that. And then also the Breakfast Club, speaking of the Breakfast Club, they are nominated for National Radio Hall of Fame induction. So that's pretty exciting. Shout out to DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlamagne. And speaking of leaving a talk show, Tamera Mowry just announced that she is leaving The Real. That is crazy. First, Amanda Seales, well, really first was Tamar, but she didn't really leave. I think she kind of got kicked off. But Amanda Seales left, and she just announced her departure maybe like a month ago. I don't even know if it was that long. And now here comes Tamera Mowry saying that she's leaving as well. So in the IG caption she posted on IG, she said, for 7 years, my home and my heart has been at The Real. The friendships that I've made there will last a lifetime, and the people that I've had the blessing to interview have changed my life for the better. I'm so proud of what all the ladies and I have accomplished there, including 2 well-deserved NAACP Image Awards and a Daytime Emmy. However, all good things must come to an end, and it's with a bittersweet smile that I announce that I am moving on from The Real. To my fellow host, I love you, I will miss you, and I will always be there. Thank you for teaching me, supporting me, and loving all of me. Sisters forever. I'll be rooting for you as I look forward to spending more time with my family, pursuing amazing new opportunities, and embarking on the next chapter of my life. So shout out to Tamera for making this bold new move. And at this point, like I said, I wonder where, what direction The Real will go in now. Tamar done left, Amanda Seales done left. And now Tamera. So who's left? Lonnie, Gina. How do you pronounce? Is it Gina or Jeannie or Gina? I think it's Jeannie. And then you got Adrian. So I don't know if they're gonna, bring on two new hosts, or they're just gonna cut the show. But if y'all looking for another host, ask Marsh, okay? Cause I'm available. I am available. Put me on the show, honey, cause I got something to say. But yes, again, shout out to Tamera for making that bold new move and just pursuing other opportunities and doing what's in her best interest. So moving on, new music. Okay. So YG just released. I can't sometimes with Hollywood, especially Black Hollywood. YG just released a cover for his new single Swag, and on the cover, he is dressed as Colin Kaepernick, and supposedly it's supposed to pay homage. So in the cover, he's kneeling with this jersey, and he has this big afro, and he has these two cheerleaders behind him who are also kneeling, and it's a no for me. Like, I don't, absolutely not. No, just, y'all remember on Get Out when the lady was like, no. That's how I feel. No, absolutely not. And I just, I don't have any other words except no. I just, absolutely not. That was a terrible, no, just no. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's a no for me. Another exciting news, Chris Brown announces that his 10th studio album will be called Breezy. He hasn't given out any additional details, but I am definitely excited for that. Hopefully he takes a little bit back to his roots, because Chris, the pop is a lot for me. I need the yos, that graffiti, that hurt, that real good R&B, soul, mixed with a little bit of pop. But this, you can even take me back to the Deuces days, but, fame days. I can deal with that. But this new pop age is not. Let's just take it back a little bit. So I don't know. I'm excited for that. We'll see what he has in store for us. So I know Summer Walker just dropped her new EP, Life on Earth. It was okay. I think it was okay. I mean, I could have done without it. It wasn't terrible, but I didn't need that EP. My favorite songs on the EP were White Tea and Deeper. But I definitely think she had a couple of bomb lines. But overall, I thought the music was a bit redundant. Like, it seemed like every song kind of sounded the same. And she already makes slow music, which I love, because that's her. She's the artist you listen to when you're in your feelings about Bae. And I love that, but I think this one was just it was a bit redundant. Like, every song just kind of sounded the same. Like, I think White Tea and Deeper kind of gave me a little bit different feels, and White Tea had a little bop to it, but other than that, it was okay. It was okay. Still love you though, Summer. I haven't gotten a chance to listen to Snow Allegra's album, but I plan to get into that this week. And please, y'all, stop dropping music just for like a week or two, because I need to get caught up. I can't digest. I still haven't learned all the words to Tiana Taylor's album because it's too much. Like, every time my album comes out, I feel like I need to listen to it. Like, I need to digest it so I can talk about it and I can feel it. But I can't do that with everybody dropping music at the same time. Give me a break. But anyway, I am loving all of this Black girl magic that's been happening. We are way above average, making history, beating the odds, and defying all limitations. So, Javicia Leslie, she's 33. She's a Hampton graduate. Shout out to all the HBCUs. And she's from PG County, which is in Maryland, for all of you who don't know. She was casted as the new lead role for Batwoman, and is scheduled to return in January. And she is taking over the role from actress Ruby Rose and will become the first Black actress to play Batwoman in a live-action TV or film production. And get this, Leslie was also a former Miss Hampton University, so shout out to all the campus queens. And she also played in several TV series, including MacGyver, Chef Julian, and Prototype. And she also starred in BET series The Family Business and the CBS series God Friended Me. This is what she said in her caption. No, this was in an interview. My apologies. She said, "I am extremely proud to be the first Black actress to play the iconic role of Batwoman on television. And as a bisexual woman, I am honored to join the groundbreaking show, which has been such a trailblazer for the LGBTQ plus community." So shout out to Javicia. Yes, girl. Next on my list is Miss Joy Reid. Joy Reid just took over the 7 p.m. spot on MSNBC. She's taking over Chris Matthews' spot. And this makes her cable's first Black woman primetime anchor. The show is set to begin July 20th. It's based in D.C. Shout out to D.C. again, called The Reid Out. And it will feature one-on-one conversations with politicians and newsmakers while addressing provocative political issues both inside and outside of the Beltway. She used to host NBC's weekend talk show, AM Joy, and worked as a correspondent and hosted the afternoon show, The Reid Report, on MSNBC. She said in an interview, "I am honored and thankful for this opportunity. I'll always be proud of the work we did on AM Joy. by pushing the envelope and tackling pragmatic conversations. I am eager to carry that same energy into the 7 p.m. hour, where we can continue to build on bringing in diverse, smart, and accomplished voices to the table on topics that are important to our viewers. So again, shout out to Joy Reid. And last but not least, Miss Bozomo St. John. Netflix just named Bozomo as its new chief marketing officer, making her the first Black woman top executive at the world's largest streaming entertainment company. She replaces the former CEO, Jackie Lee Joe, and she transitions to Netflix from entertainment and talent agency Endeavor, where she was the head of marketing since 2018. She also has over 20 years of experience in branding and marketing, and she used to work at Uber, Apple, Pepsi, and more. She said in an interview, "I'm thrilled to join Netflix, especially at a time where storytelling is critical to our global societal well-being. I feel honored to contribute my experience to an already dynamic legacy and to continue driving engagement in the future." So shout out to all those three ladies who are making history by being the first Black women in their particular industries. And it's just so exciting to see more Black women on the front lines of media and entertainment, because first of all, we're already misrepresented in entertainment and in media, and then we're negatively portrayed. Like, we're always allowed ratchet, angry Black women. And to see these women stepping up and making a change and making progress and putting their foot down in these industries is like, wow, and becoming first. Like, we are truly making history. And as a Black woman in the podcast space, it's so exciting that these types of women are leading the way for women like me to have a path forward. So I'm so excited for them. So yeah, definitely go check them out. Wish them well, and make sure you watch the Readout, Batwoman, and keep up with Bozomo St. John. So that's your dose of MASH for today. Thanks for listening, and I will catch you on the next
Let me get
episode.
the mic. Honey, I got something to say. Ooh, I like that. Can you turn that up for me? No, like, it's Maja. But you know, Maj for short. Ask Maj.